In fact, the most reliable model we have, and for days it has been putting out like 40-inch rainfall total amounts forecast. We rarely see that. You don't really believe it when you see something like that, but days in we're seeing it. In the latest run that came in, Harris, while I was sitting here, 53 inches of rain in Port Lavaca. Port Lavaca is probably the spot that will get the worst of the storm surge, probably about 12 feet of storm surge, the worst of the wind, maybe winds well over 100 miles an hour, and in a 5 to 6 day period, we're talking about maybe 4.5 feet of rain. That's rain that's like right about here. I'm almost 6 feet tall. A couple of things to notice. Still, it looks like it is strengthening. The pressure continues to fall. It's gone through an eye wall replacement cycle. I'll show you that in a second, but take a look at this. So it makes landfall sometime tonight into tomorrow morning, and tomorrow evening it has pulled inland, and we're still at a Category 1 hurricane. So now we are dealing with this for, say, 18 hours, and we still have a hurricane force winds, but this right here is the radar picture. We have lightning going on in the center. That is usually indication of strengthening.
I'm going to step in and right now, because, you know, we've got our reporters in the field, and Casey Stegall can show us a little bit about what you're describing, because the conditions on the ground now are getting tough. Casey is in Galveston. Casey?
Yeah, Harris, this is the worst we've seen it. We've been out here since 5 o'clock this morning. It is literally raining sideways right now, and at times it is even difficult for us to even stand once a good gust comes through. It is just coming down so hard you might even not be able to see the Gulf back there. But Rick is talking about storm surge, and in addition to there being hurricane warnings and watches up and down most of the Texas coast, there are also storm surge warnings in areas. In fact, some information from the National Hurricane Center that so far, as of this afternoon, in areas it is already 1.5 to 2 feet higher than they had initially projected. And I have to say, we've covered quite a bit of these, and what has me a little bit worried here is that we're still quite a bit away from this thing making landfall. It's not going to make landfall directly here over Galveston where we are. It's going to be south of us, down, near Corpus Christi. See, the water's even blowing into your mouth. It's windy. It is so incredibly windy out here. So the storm surge is something that we're already starting to see out here on the beach. So again, the thing is, we're already feeling this, and we are still hours and hours before official landfall. And that has something from a lot of the folks here that we've talked to concerned that we're already seeing such horrible conditions, frankly, this early on into the game, Harris.
And I know how windy it is out there, so you just tell me if you need for me to speak up, Casey. You and I have covered these storms before, and it troubles me a little bit that you keep saying the people I've been talking to. People are leaving, right?
Yeah, for the most part. You know, I mean, you always have people that do not heed the warnings. If you can believe it or not, just while we've been standing here during the press briefing at the White House waiting to go on with you, we've seen people out here trying to take selfies with their children out here very, very close to the waves. So you always have people that don't listen, and they don't heed the warnings, and they think that this is fun or that it's some type of a game. But I can assure you, Harris, after we have covered many of these together, there is nothing fun and there is no game about this, and that is why the officials on the ground, the governor of this state, even the FEMA officials there in Washington, not mincing words with the potentials and the potential impact with this particular event. They're talking about life-threatening flooding, life-threatening, catastrophic. Those are words that the National Hurricane Center and the National Weather Service itself is putting out. That is not the media hyping this. That is from the forecasters looking directly at these models. So it is imperative that if people think that this is the time to take it easy and that this may not be that bad, they could be very wrong, and the window is closing. Governor Abbott, the governor of this state, said that not terribly long ago, that the window is closing for people to evacuate, because as you can see, with conditions like this already, if you're stuck in a traffic jam trying to get out of town, that could be problematic with such difficulty with visibility and and all the rest. Here's a...
You guys some Galveston beer!
Well, thank you. That will be nice for after we are done covering this. But there you go. So just friendly people here. Those that we've talked to have said, hey, we're getting out. And we have boarded up our place, and they've said goodbye to us on the way out of town. Then we've also seen people that are out here snapping pictures, and they say that they're just going to go ahead and...
Yeah.
Right,
you know
right.
what?
So
look, they've been through this so many times, and sometimes these storms in the beginning can look awfully identical. But we do hope that people heed the warnings. They are awfully kind to want to give love,
Harris,
but getting in a car is important. Go right ahead, Casey.
I just wanted to say my producer and everyone off camera is telling me the tornado warning has just been issued for the Galveston area. So this is something that's also possible with this. We have these, as these tropical bands and stuff come in, they can spawn water spouts and tornadoes and the like. So a lot of different threats the people here along this region are facing.